Hi everyone, we're live on air. You're watching Good for the Game TV. It's 9 o'clock. It's Thursday night. It's time for the Handicap, the only rugby chat that matters, I can tell you that. Great to talk rugby betting with you. We're into Super Rugby Week 11. Can you believe it? We're well into the second half of the season. We're going to run through all 6 matches taking place this weekend. I'll have the panel share their bets. I'm actually quite bullish about a few things this week. Quite surprising if you read my blogs on the Good for the Game website, because I had an absolute shocker last week. I was on the Sharks, I was on the Stormers, I was on the Blues, and then I caught all sorts of bad luck in Europe where I just lost a few bets. So a bit of a tough one for me there. Guys, before you do anything else, if you're new to the show, pop down below the video, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss any of our videos. We've got Cricket World Cup coming up. We've got golf majors. We've got rugby every single week. So much betting to talk about. And, well, there's nothing better than talking about betting. And I've got 2 guys to do just that with me here. And let's start off down in the Eastern Cape. He's a guy many people think must be unemployed because he spends so much time writing articles these days. And it's our own couch critic on the Good for the Game forum, Handicap. Couch, how are you, sir?
How's it, Brent? I'm good. Just for the record, you're going to get it again. It's not the Eastern Cape, Bo. We're still in the Western Cape on this
sure,
side.
But let's hope Seen Bo's not watching, because he'll tick me. Seen, if you are coming into the show, I'm hoping you missed the first couple of minutes, so I'll get that. I've really got to learn my geography. But Couch, let me ask you, how did you go last week? Because our best bet collectively was the Stormers minus against the Brumbies, and they absolutely fluffed their lines.
Brent, I had a lovely family time over Easter weekend in Hermanus, and then I went and buggered it all up by getting involved in the rugby. So that was a horrible decision from my side, and the Rebels hurt me big time. And then, yes, obviously that Stormers won. And as you guys were talking in the previous show, then trying to chase your losses there, that was a big mistake going into the Stormers. So that hurt me badly, eh?
Okay, and tell me something. Going back a couple of weeks, what happened to that date you were going on with that young lady you had all those intentions with?
Jeepers, Brent, no comment, man.
No comment. We'll leave it at that. And let's go down to the Western Cape. I'm pretty confident he's there. It's Henrik Swart. He's smiling. I also not sure you had the greatest weekend last weekend, Henrik, but I sense from some of your comments on Twitter and in the forum that you're ready to fire into week 11.
Yeah, Brent, I didn't have the best of weekends. I actually, when I do my notes for the show, I use a word sheet, and I normally use the previous week's one, and then I just changed it to this week. And I checked yesterday when I started, I checked all my picks for last week, and I saw I got 0 out of 6 on the show. So it wasn't the best week, but yeah, on the points, there was a few that I did all right with. So in the end, personally, I had a small loss for the weekend, but yeah, it wasn't a good weekend there.
Yeah, wasn't the best. Well, let's get stuck straight into this week's action. Just before I do that, just to mention, if you didn't watch GG Gaming Gone Mad, Gary Lenton offers a bit of 16-1 South Africa to win the World Cup. That's double the price you're going to get at most other places. You could watch the show and see what you've got to do. You've got to send him an email by Sunday at noon, and you can get 16-1 South Africa. A reason that I got triggered there, just seeing the boys in the live chat, Ruan Faris saying he stuck 100 Rand on the Springboks at 16-1. He says it's been that kind of year, Henrik, where anything can happen. But I know you're not putting any money on the box.
No, I think it's very clever from Gary boosting that price. I think you'll get a few patriotic punts from the guys, but I can't, you could have made it 20-1. You could have made it 32-1. I wouldn't have taken any of that. I can't see the Boks winning either of the World Cups or the South African as well.
Yeah, and look, if you watch the video, you will see he's offering some other perhaps type of incentive, but he's been rather elusive about that. So he certainly may tempt a few guys. But let's get into the action. It starts tomorrow morning down in Christchurch. It's the Crusaders up against the Lions. The Lions stunning everyone, Henrik, last week when they beat the Cheetahs. I mean, I think I think a few of us actually fancied the Lions a bit on the handicap there, but I don't think many people expected them to win. They, of course, had Warren Whiteley back in the side. The big news now that you actually let me know earlier is that Whiteley's out for tomorrow. And the handicap, which opened here at about the 18.5 point mark, currently sits at 20.5. And are you strong on anything in this game?
Yeah, when I did my notes, I still thought Whiteley would play. So I'm not going for the full-time handicap. I like the Crusaders to do the job in the first half. I'm not sure whether it's still available, but there was minus 9.5 Crusaders half-time handicap at BetExchange at just under 9-10. So I like that. And then I'll also try and have a go at Crusaders overs. I think it should be about 38.5 points, Crusaders points. I think they should score 40 or more. The Lions defense hasn't been good. They were pretty good for the first half against the Chiefs, but I don't rate the Chiefs, and it's one of those teams that I try and oppose. So yeah, I think the Crusaders will come out firing and do the job in the first half, and then they will also I like their points over. I checked the weather, and there's no rain predicted for Christchurch.
Excellent. Yeah, hard to see the Crusaders slipping up there against an understrength Lions, although the Crusaders also missing a couple of players. Before I bring Hein in to give me his feelings on the game, just a shout out to all the boys on the live chat. Great to have you on board. Be strong, and Etienne Breitenbach. I see some chats going on about the Super Sport Challenge as well, which is one of those competitions where we might be able to gain a bit of an edge on the bookmakers because, of course, they don't have the same sort of knowledge that they do about Super Rugby. But Hein, let's stick for now to Christchurch and this game. What have you gone for in your Bet Olymp preview here?
Brent, it looked like we had a gorilla in the mist there at the bottom for a moment, but let's get to that later. No, the 20 and a half is a tough handicap. I think it's pretty well set, but obviously no Sways, no Malcolm Marks, and no Whiteley. I mean, there's just no way you can be in the Lions camp for this one. So I'm definitely not going to be there. And it was just a case of how I was going to back the Crusaders. So I'm just not exactly sure on that at the moment. But at this time, the only special bet I've got with Bet Olymp on this one is the George Bridge to be the first try scorer. At I think it's about 7-1. I think he's got a decent chance to score one out wide there to get things going. And then I'm probably going to lean towards Heinrich's first half handicap. I think maybe the Crusaders will start fast, and definitely close to the time I'm going to look at points because I think the Lions could really ship some points here.
Excellent. Well, I had a bit of problems emailing you guys the link for the show, and for that reason, I sent it on an old Twitter link, and I included the Oracle, who's actually on sabbatical. But I see what you mean by gorillas in the mist. Oracle obviously trying to come onto the show and make an appearance. It looks as though he's I'm not 100% sure that his Wi-Fi is playing ball, but let's give him a second. Oracle, are you there? It doesn't look.
Yeah, how's it? Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Oracle, how are you, Gavin?
I'm right, thank you. How are you?
Good, man. We can't see you, but we can hear you. And I guess a lot of people out there have been asking what has happened to the Oracle. You're on a bit of a sabbatical at the moment. You're going to rest up and then come firing into the World Cup?
Yes, I am, Brent. Yeah, not going to do anything until the World Cup. I've given up on the Super Rugby. I didn't get it right, those last few weeks. So I just decided to, just giving it a bit of a break and just getting on with my YouTube channel, and I'll definitely be back for the World Cup. More than likely, possibly the Curry Cup as well.
Excellent. Yeah, I know you enjoy those tournaments. So let me ask you: are you making a fleeting appearance to say hello? Or are you planning to join us for the show?
I actually thought it was your rugby talk show that I was joining.
Well, I haven't mentioned that to everyone yet, but now's a good time to do that. We are going to have another rugby talk show, but it'll be early in the week where we're not as betting focused and we're talking more about the big issues in rugby. But Oracle, thanks. I know you haven't been betting, so you haven't done your homework, but thanks for popping in and letting us know what you're up to. A lot of people saying you've never looked better than you do on tonight's show.
Okay, cool. No problem.
Thanks,
I'll join you
Gavin.
next week early for that, so just let me know.
Excellent. Right, and thanks very much to Oracle Rugby. Let me just make a note to self. Be careful who you send the link out to before the show. Oracle joining us there. Good to have him on board. It's always some good fun, and I'm looking forward to having him on board for the World Cup as well. Guys, let's finish this game off. I like the Crusaders here. I think the 20.5, I'm not sure. I will search straight after the show to see if I can get better, but I like the 20.5 on the Crusaders. I think they're going to blow this Lions team away, and I think they're going to blow them away pretty badly. And like you, Henrik, I also fancy the halftime handicap, but I just don't have a good record in halftimes, so I'm going here for the Crusaders to beat the Caps. So it looks like we're all leaning more or less in the same direction. Anything else, Hein, you in particular, before I move on to the next game? It looks like Hein's frozen there. I think his connection may have gone. So, Henrik, let's you and I move on to the next one. And the next game takes place in Tokyo. It's the Sunwolves against the Highlanders. The Highlanders have picked a slightly weakened side here, certainly. They're still favourites here at -9.5 at 19-20 on Sunbet. I did see one of our Twitter followers sort of suggesting that the Sunwolves should have been favourites for this game. But, Henrik, they handicapped this game very much where I expected it.
Yeah, the handicap, I see it's about 8.5, 9.5. This afternoon when I checked Hollywood, they normally put the handicaps up later in the week. They had 11.5 on this game. I see it's come into 10.5. I took some of the plus 11.5 on the Sunwolves. I think the Sunwolves has a chance of winning this game. There's a lot of ex-Islanders players involved with the Sunwolves, who played for the Islanders, and the coach Danny Brown, he played for the Islanders. He was assistant coach there when they won Super Rugby. I think it was 2015. Yeah, 2015, I think. And yeah, I like the Sunwolves. Yeah, I wouldn't advise anyone to put the Islanders to win in any multiples. I think they can lose this game, and I really like the plus here.
Okay, well, I didn't have a very firm opinion on this game, and if anything, I was perhaps leaning towards the Highlanders, but I'm pleased I heard you there because you've certainly convinced me. And let's go to Hein now. At one stage, we had two of you on the screen, but now we seem to have the right one, and I see your lips moving, suggesting that we've got your signal back. Couch, what do you make of this one?
Sorry, man, I got such a big fright about that gorilla in the mist that I dropped the line. No, I think finally, we've been waiting week in and week out for the Sunwolves to get the respect that they deserve, and I think finally the bookies are starting to come around. They're a decent side now, and in Tokyo they're tough to beat. I haven't been impressed by the Islanders. I know they got the job done to my detriment last week, but I don't think they're any great shakes. So yes, I think if you're going to be on any one side, definitely the handicap on the Sunwolves. If you can get a decent price, a good one. Personally, I've gone for the 1-12 on the Islanders. I think they'll still sneak a win, but I've got, I think, 17-10, if I'm not mistaken, on Islanders 1-12. That's my play, and a little speculative one on Sunwolves to lead and Islanders to win the game is at 11-2. I think that's what I got. And then finally, a little boost from Bet Olymp. I got them to give me Shannon Frizzell to score the last try. He's playing on the bench, and he's quite a try scorer when he comes on. So
on that one you mentioned there, my good friend Johan Lopschi actually sent me a WhatsApp just before the show. He liked Shannon Frizzell to score the last try. So he agrees with you on that one.
Excellent. Well, I'm not sure if Hein's with us anymore. It looks as though his Wi-Fi may have cut off. Just to mention, Ron Farid in the live chat is agreeing with him there. He's going Sunwolves to lead at half-time and Highlanders to win at the end of the game. And Henrik, I didn't watch the game last week, but if I'm not mistaken, that would have arrived last week against the Hurricanes. I think the Sunwolves led at the break.
Yeah, they did lead at the break, Brent. They actually went out at one time. They went out to a 23-7 lead. So yeah, and then the Hurricanes scored 22 unanswered points. But yes, they did lead at the break. The Sunwolves, they've been good in the first half a few times this year. But yeah, I just feel the Islanders, they will miss Ben Smith. They've got Aaron Smith back starting, I think, if I remember correctly. But I like the Sunwolves here. They look very well coached. I was a bit skeptical about Vasiako starting at 12 last week, but he had a very good game at 12 here. With his first try, he had at the break, and he put Masarewa away as well. So I actually, after the game, I read he played 12 at school level or at college level or something like that. Yeah, he really impressed me at 12.
Right, and it looks like Hein's back with us. Hein, you reckon we got these Wi-Fi problems sorted out?
Oh, Brent, I'd love to say yes, but I'm not sure. Hey? I'm hoping it'll stay on for a while this time.
So things are out of our control. I must tell you, I was busy also preparing for the show. About half an hour before I went on the show with Gary, and all of a sudden our Wi-Fi just dropped. And one of my kids actually came through and rebooted it. But it seems like everything in this country at the moment is a little bit unreliable, including, of course, the Super Rugby teams. Because I've seen a lot of New Zealand guys on their YouTube channels and on Twitter saying they cannot fathom the South African conference. But anyway, it should be a good game. That, of course, is taking place tomorrow as well. And we've got 4 games taking place on Saturday, starting with a big New Zealand derby between the Hurricanes and the Chiefs. And Hein, I'll stay with you while we got a decent connection. Looks like there's been some money for the Hurricanes. It was -9.5, and I see basically -11.5 now. Hurricanes at home to the Chiefs.
Yes, I think people got a little bit of a shock by the Chiefs' performance last week, but everyone's worried that it might be a DMAC issue and they can't keep up the levels without him. But obviously they've got Nathan Harris and Alamano at the back there, so they've got a few guys back, and hopefully it'll be a improved performance from them. But again, I think I've usually said it a few times, the Hurricanes to me just have too much X factor, and at the end they pull off that one move to secure the win. So again, I've faltered the last few weeks, but this time around I'm sticking to a New Zealand team to do it at home close. So it's Hurricanes 1-12 again. I think I've got a 17-10, and I think that's the way to go on this one.
Now, Henrik, I often say that these New Zealand derbies are often the easiest to handicap. I thought it would be about -7.5 Hurricanes. But the more I think about it, the more I think that a double-figure handicap is right for this game.
I'm with Hein on this one, Brent. This is two teams I've taken on this season. I don't rate them that highly as they were previous seasons. I think this will actually be closer than most people think. I think the Chiefs, even though they lost to the Lions, they might run the Hurricanes close here. So I've also gone for the 1-12, same one as Hein, and I got 18-10 at Bet Exchange. So I'm not sure whether you're going to take the minus on the Hurricanes, but yeah, I think it will be a bit closer. But I'm not strong in this one.
Yeah, I must say I was leaning towards the minus, but probably at the 9.5 levels. It's starting to get to the point now where I'm not so confident anymore. But I do like the Hurricane side that's been picked, and I do think they will win this game. How comfortably they're going to do it, I'm not sure. It's certainly not one of the games I'm overly confident on. My son's got a big rugby game at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, so I won't be watching it either. So not a game I'll be getting too involved with. Hein, before we move on to the Waratahs and the Sharks, anything you want to throw in there from a try scorer's perspective?
No, I haven't really gone for the try scorers yet. I don't know if you caught me on the last one before the line broke up. I just got Shannon Frizzell for the Highlanders to score coming off the bench. That was my special bet from that one. But no, for this particular one, again, it's a bit too topsy-turvy. I don't know who's going to score first. In the New Zealand derbies, they often trade tries like it's going out of fashion in that first half particularly. So I think I'll stay clear on that one.
Well, be strong going for the Chiefs by 3, and he reckons the Chiefs on the plus 10.5 handicap there. You can get plus 11.5 if you shop around there. Be strong. But you touched on something there that I actually want to bring Henrik on. And Henrik, Couch is saying there how in the New Zealand derbies often you get this frenetic first half, lots of points. And then suddenly in the second half, the points will dry up. And it's amazing how often we've seen that happen, not only with New Zealand derbies, but just rugby in general at the moment, where you have really a game of two halves. And I think it's fair to say if we had the discipline to wait until halftime, wait for a high-scoring game, and then go low on points in the second half, you'd probably do pretty well for yourself.
Yeah, Brent, I have a WhatsApp group with my friends who's also punters, and they also go on about the game of 2 halves the whole time. There's a lot of truth in that. I think if you wait until halftime, either if there's not a lot of points, you go overs, or if there's a lot of points, you go unders. That happens so many times. The guys, they pile on a lot of points in the first half, and then somehow the game just changes and the points dry up. So yeah, there has been a lot of games with 2 halves. Just on this game, before we move on, I forgot to mention, if the Planet Rugby's ref appointments are correct, Rasta is the ref here as well. Last week, all 6 games went unders on total points, but I think there might be a bit of points here. The Chiefs, they haven't been that great on defense, and the Hurricanes, I just think it's 2 exciting teams, so there might be a bit of points. So if the quote is around about 50, 52, 53, I'll try and go overs here.
Right, yeah, I also quite like overs on that game as well. Let's move on to the next one. It's the Waratahs up against the Sharks. And Southpaw mentioning on the Good for the Game forum. For those of you who don't know the forum, you log on to goodforthegame.coza and you'll find the forum there. And Southpaw, he's mentioning that this has been played on a new pitch. I think he might have said a synthetic pitch. And he's going to be looking for an overs play in this game. So, Henrik, interested in your thoughts on that, and also the handicap, which is currently sitting Waratahs sort of minus 5.5 against a Sharks side that's coming off an awful couple of weeks.
Yeah, I haven't. I saw South's post, but I haven't done any research on the field they're playing in the pitch. So I'm not sure about that. If it's a synthetic pitch, it should be good for running rugby, and there might be a few points. Lots of time when it's 2 different countries teams playing against each other, it's a clash of styles, and there are a few points. I like the Sharks on the plus here. They can't really make a case for the Sharks the way they've played the last 2 weeks, but I think it might be good for them getting away from Durban, getting away from all the media. And I like the changes that have been made. I'm not the biggest Kevin Bosch fan, but Robert de Pre has been so bad. Anything's better, and I think Kevin Bosch might bring a bit of an other angle and a bit of energy to that pivot role. I like the Sharks here. Hollywood still has plus 8.5. I just checked before the show, and it's still available, plus 8.5 Sharks. I had a nice bet there. And I think the Sharks will win this game.
Yeah, I see Mike Nurse agreeing with you there. Sharks plus 8.5. I got a message from Peter now earlier today, an email from Peter. I think he's on the mailing list saying that he reckons the Sharks are absolute good things this weekend. It's very weird to talk about this, as you suggest, Hendrik, because there's nothing in the last 2 weeks' performances that can give you any confidence. But the Sharks are the sort of side that sometimes perform on the road. Before I bring Couch in there, I just want to quickly share my screen for a second, because I'm going to go across to the Good for the Game post. And this is a recent post by Southpaw. I've just inflated it a bit. And he goes, he likes the Sharks at 11-5, which is also the price you'll get at World Sports Betting. This game has been played at the new multi-sport ground in Sydney. The first game there was a league match which had 60 points scored. It's a great-looking surface, but also new for the Waratahs. So this is the sort of thing we have on the Good for the Game forum. And he hasn't actually said, I misunderstood. He didn't necessarily say a synthetic pitch, but he says a lovely surface, and we can expect some points. So let's bring you in there now, Couch. I've seen plus 7.5 Sharks, but also minus 5.5 Waratahs. So you've got a nice little range as a punter.
Brent, for the Sharks' sake, I just hope that the new pitch doesn't take too much turn, eh? No, I think this one it's tough. It's put up the paper and throw a dart there. You don't know what to expect of either of these teams. I've been calling them wrong of late, so I'm probably should be staying away. And when you should be staying away, then the best thing is to try and take some value if there is something. So I'll have a little nibble on the Sharks. I think that's with the topsy-turvy up and down kind of season we're having, I think that's the right way to go. You know, just put a few rand on the Sharks to pull off an upset. You know, they might just play their best game, but they might as well just lose by 14 as well. You never know if those lot. So it depends on what team pitches up. Sharks team-wise, Thomas Latoy is a tight head. Akker is back on the bench, so that should give them a bit of impetus there in the second half. I've actually had a little nibble at a 10-1 Waratahs to lead and Sharks to win the game. So hopefully it's a very close game. Waratahs lead by 2 and Sharks come home and I win a 10-1. So that's the plan for this one.
Right. Well, I'm quite strong on the Sharks here. I like them to win the game. I'm going to back them outright. And I'm going to take certainly the plus 8.5 at Hollywood. I've got a few rand in a Hollywood account I can get involved in.
Are you sure you want to be Hollywood, Brent?
Hollywood, I don't know what it is. When they stick the best price out there, they somehow always seem to reel me in like a fish, really, and catch me. But I've done a bit better with them this year, so I might well have a punt with them there at the plus 8.5. But, guys, the way we're leaning here, this could be our best bet of the weekend. And it frightens me to send out the newsletter on Friday mornings mentioning the Sharks as the best bet.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I'm not sure people's going to take us. The way the Sharks played the last 2 weeks, you can't really be confident on them. But they have travelled well, so they have a nice record in Australia, Asia. So I think they're good, definitely good for the plus. And I think I like them for the win. Like you, I'm going to back them to win the game as well.
I think the best bet is still coming, Brent. Don't worry, it's still coming.
Oh, it's good, and I've got a feeling we might agree on this one, but well, maybe not, because I don't think Henrik's going to agree with me. So it's going to be interesting because I did watch the GG Gaming show. And let's go on now to the Stormers up against the Bulls. And Couch, I'll stay with you. This down in Newlands, the Stormers, they've also been hit and miss. They beat the Reds very well on the road. They were absolutely terrible last week then against the Brumbies. Outplayed by the Brumbies early on, certainly. They're now back at home against a Bulls side that hammered them in week 1. But the Stormers have generally performed okay at home over the years, and they are favourites here, but I sense a bit of money coming for the Bulls. I think Gary Lenton mentioned 12-10 the Bulls. I see World Sports betting 23-20. Sunbet are even closer, and I think they're 11-10 the Bulls. So this is almost looking like a game that's going to start choice. And which way are you leaning, and is this the best bet you're talking about?
Yeah, Brent, I don't want to upset any more people, but I think the Stormers are one of those teams that are a bit soft in the head. You know, it depends on mentally whether they're up for something or not. Quite a bit like the Sharks maybe, and obviously they're going to be up for this one. You know, you can pretty much scratch what happened last week. It's a derby game. It's a reverse of getting a hammering from the Bulls, so they'll be keen to put the record straight. But honestly, I just don't see them doing it. Yeah, now the Bulls were really bad after they took their last bye, so hopefully they'll be a bit more awake this time around. But Jean-Luc, I can't have him on fly off. He's been poor. The rest of the team is decent, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling it at the moment for the Stormers. I think it'll be a very tight contest, but I've gone Bulls 1-12, and I'm pretty firm on that. I think it's 26-10 that I got there. And I like that. I think the Bulls have got it in them. They're going to want to do that. And I mean, these days half the Bulls guys are going home, so it's fine for them.
Right, well, there's been a bit of movement on this handicap, and Emil pointing out that you could get 9 to 10 the Stormers, but Mike Nurse saying +2.5 the Bulls. So there's certainly been some movement. Now, I'm going to bring Henrik in here, but Henrik, I'm going to say that I think that this will start a choice game. I think the money is going to come for the Bulls, but I'm not necessarily sure that's going to be your money.
I agree that this money is going to come for the Bulls. Brent, the Stormers were very poor last week. Yeah, it's not going to be my money. I think this is going to be like the test match. It's going to be a very hard game. The Stormers, they're going to be desperate. They need to win this game if they want to stay. Well, the conference is really tight, but this is a game they need to win at home against the Bulls. That's also in the same conference as they are. I think it will be tight, so I'm also going for the 1 to 12 market. I'm going for the Stormers. Best I saw was 18 to 10. But yeah, I think this will be apart from other thing I want to say. Apart from it being a 3 o'clock game, this has all the makings of an unders game for me. So I hope we get a nice quote of close to 50, and we can go unders on total points here. Glenn Jackson is the referee as well, and I like to go unders on these games. So of all the games that I've had a look, I've had a look at what I expect from the points. This is my strongest fancy on the unders on total points.
Yeah, and I think you'll get a decent quote here. If the weather's decent in Cape Town, I've got a feeling you might even get like a 52.5 or something that you can go under here, Henrik. And wouldn't argue with you there. I think this could be a bit of an arm wrestle. But I must say, I'm leaning quite firmly towards the Bulls. You know, I see Pierre Killian saying that he thought the cap would have moved more by now. He can't believe the Bulls aren't favourites. And I just want to pop across quickly to the Good for the Game website and just have a look at how I handicapped this game. But pretty sure I actually made the Bulls favourites here. And I am a little bit surprised to see that that the Stormers are sort of holding there. But then again, I thought everyone would go for the Bulls. And on the last show, it certainly didn't work out that way. Just looking what I capped this game, I actually, in fairness, I made this a choice game. So I pretty much capped it where it is now. I Coyle on the Good for the Game forum made it -4.5 Stormers. So he fancied the Stormers to be quite firm favourites there. But I did think this would be choice. So based on my early cap, the betting looks about right. But I'm leaning towards the Bulls here. I think they're going to win well. But it looks like another game where everybody is differing, including Shaw Nicholas, who's down there in Cape Town at the moment. Weepy yo lekker ding, he says. For our New Zealand viewers, that means New Zealand are not going to win the World Cup. We'll just translate it that way. But guys, this should be a cracking game. Couch, would you also be leaning unders there?
Yes, definitely. I'm with Hendrik. I think this is going to be a tight affair, a tight tussle, and that's why 1 to 12 is the place to go. I've actually just checked. It's on my special offer of Bet Olympus gone to 2 to 1.
That looks like
on the 1. It's a good value and a good play.
Excellent. I thought we'd lost you there, Hans. So good to have you on there. Guys, this is going to be a cracking game, but let's move on to the final game of the weekend. It's taking place late at night, South African time. It's the Jaguares who are sitting at around about the 3 to 1, 33 to 10 mark for the South African Conference now. And they're at home to the Brumbies. Now, the Brumbies have had to travel a fair bit. The Brumbies beat the Lions in Canberra, then traveled to the Newlands and beat the Stormers. And the question now, Couch, is can they now travel over to Argentina and beat a Jaguares side that is coming off a bye?
No, Brent, they cannot. And this is put it in the mail. We're going for the Jags, yeah. Jaguares -4.5. They're going to do the business. I think the Brumbies have surprised themselves with what they've done the last 2 weeks, and I think they've probably lost their legs now of the travel. The Jaguares, again, people have been underestimating them. They've done the business in South Africa 2 weeks in a row, and they cock a hoop at the moment. So I'm gonna stick it to there. I've got 11 to 10 Jaguares halftime, full time, and then I've got the -4.5 as well. I'm very, very strong on the Jaguares here.
Well, Sean Nicholas is with you. He says, yes, Heineken. That's a nice nickname for you. I must enjoy that one. Be Strong actually just saying Brumbies by 3. So he's looking at the Brumbies there. And also saying, why not invite Paul from Driving Mall to the chat? So Be Strong, I do watch some of Paul's stuff, and he's not really a betting guy. I know he started a bit of a betting thing, but I have had some contact with him in the past. He's not big into his betting, but certainly when I start the other rugby show, which we'll probably get going next week, and we're going to call it Use It or Lose It, and we're going to be talking more about general issues like the Lions team selection against the Chiefs last week, that sort of thing. Should Robert de Preer be sacked at the Sharks? We'll talk about some World Cup build-up as well, and he is certainly the kind of guy, if he doesn't mind staying up to all hours of the night, that we will have on the show. But let's go across to Henrik on this game. Henrik, are you rubber stamping Heine with the minus?
Brent, I'm not very strong in this game. I actually, I've put my pick down here, but I'm actually don't know where to go on this one. I've taken the Brumbies and the plus for my pick here, but I'm really not strong, so I'm not going to pick you guys off putting this as the best bet. I just think the Brumbies, they were very good. I know they travelled, but they impressed me against the Stormers. Their defence was very good. They were probably offside a bit, and the Stormers don't offer that much on attack. But yeah, the Jaguars, they've been disappointing at home a few times this year. So yeah, I'm not sure where to go on this one. I'll say a +5 Brumbies for me, but not strong at all.
Right, interesting. So and the live chat, the boys are a little bit more split than I thought as well. Sean, as we said, really likes Jaguars, but Emil Korf also says this will be the last upset of the weekend, Brumbies to win. So the guys are quite split there. Han, let me ask you, is your man playing hooker? Is he going to be a try scorer bet for you?
No, but I just think I need to have a word with Emil there. I don't know what his lack of confidence is in the call there. I'm going to have to discuss that with him offline. It was pure disrespect there. It's definitely Anya, and hopefully Falau Fainga is going to stay far away from scoring. Those mongrels of the Argentines are going to stop him from getting over, hopefully. So it should be go for, I don't know if Previous starting or Montoya, but go for one of them.
Right. Well, Sean was very bullish about the Jaguars. So I'll certainly be going in there with him on that. I did like them as well. Just to mention, Hein, that's great. You know, you've often had a go at rugby players and you've offended a lot of people on the show, but it's actually the first time that you've really gone for someone in the live chat. So, Emil, you can be honored. Hein really had a go at you and once again, making his friends and keeping them onto your Hein.
Don't worry, at least he knows me, so it's okay.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Good stuff. Well, anyway, guys, a cracking weekend of rugby. Anything else to add on Super Rugby before we get into the best bets?
No, nothing.
Then just to mention that I don't want to go into it too much, but if you scroll down the Good for the Game forum, you'll see Pierre Killian, who's on the show here as well. He also put in a post there on the Super Sport Challenge. So I guess I don't want to go into detail on the games because I don't think any of us have done our homework. But Henrik, the Super Sport Challenge, maybe your biggest challenge is getting a big bet on with the bookmakers because I can imagine they're going to be very much on the defensive. But the nice thing about this tournament is you've got bookmakers sitting there pricing up in South Africa. You don't have much to go on. A lot of the players are unknown. A lot of the teams are sort of unknown. You could look at last year, but how much does it really mean? In other words, if you're a punter who does your homework, you may well find some value.
Yeah, Brent, exactly like you say, it's going to be tough getting a proper bet on. I saw the guys posting about that on the forum last night. And I can't bet with WSB, but I went on to Bet Exchange site, saw the prices, and I really liked the Pumas to beat the Bulls, and I liked Griquas on the -9.5. And yeah, I deposited money into my Bet Exchange account, and I could only use about a quarter of what I deposited. So they don't allow you a lot of money on the bet, but yeah, if you do a bit of your homework, and I'm sure you can get some nice value here.
That's it. And I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I understand where the bookmakers are coming from on events like this. They are putting their necks out. As long as you can pick up a little bit as you go along. Couch, you agree with those theories?
Yes, definitely, Brent. It's a lot like some of the domestic cricket. It's all about if you can get better information than some of the bookies have. You know, if you can realize what the team news is and who Griquas are going to put into the field, then obviously you've got an advantage because often they don't know, and that's what I used to do. Is I like to see the team news, and I mean someone like Western Province, you know, they still got a quality lineup that they're going to roll out. Then we still know some of those names, so then you try and get involved there. But as you say, you can completely understand if they don't want to get cleaned out on something like that. And I mean, credit to them for coming out well in advance. In any case.
Right. Well, a couple of nice new names coming up in the live chat. Jonas is joining us. He says he often watches, but he hasn't contributed to the chat before. Buckley Pretorius, he reckons Waratahs are his best bet. So I can't recall if he's posted before, but if it is his first post, he's gone against us there. So let's hope it's not a successful first post. Guys, that Super Rugby wrapped up. Hein, I'll certainly be chatting to you perhaps next week. We're gonna start let's call it the magazine program off on rugby. We've got to finalize a few details on that still. But what is your best bet for the weekend? I mean, can you just confirm it's the Jaguars on the minus?
My best bet is to tell you that, yes, Robert Dupre is going to have to be sacked next week. But no, my best bet is definitely the Jaguars. It's a pick between halftime, full-time, and -4.5. Obviously, 4.5 is probably the little bit of a safer bet to go for. They often finish strong when they start running like crazy, and it's especially in that second half that the Brumbies could struggle with the travel factor. So definitely Aguares -4.5 is my best play for the weekend.
Henrik?
Brent, tough one between the Sunwolves plus and the Sharks plus for me, but I'll go for the Sharks plus 8.5. And yeah, I think Sunwolves should have a good chance to beat the Islanders, and I'm very confident in the Sharks beating the Waratahs.
Okay, well, my best bet, I do like the Sharks plus 8.5. That's my best bet, with the Aguares coming in just behind that on the minus. So we may well end up going in the Good for the Game newsletter for the plus on the Sharks tomorrow as our best bet. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the Good for the Game newsletter, just scroll down below the video to the comments section. I have put a link to that, and I've also put a link to the Good for the Game forum thread. Guys, thanks. We had some great participation from all of you guys on the live show. Rugby's fever is really going to build as we head towards the World Cup. And thanks very much, Henrik and Hein, for joining me on the show. And great to see our good mate Oracle popping, well, not his head, but his voice into the show.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy the week.
Cheers, guys. Happy hunting. Excellent,
guys. Thanks very much for the contributions on the live chat. Good to have you on as always. We'll be back on Sunday with a handicap show. It looks like we might go live with gggaming.bet. They may actually price up live on our show, and I'm sure I can convince Gary to hold those handicaps for a good 15, 20 minutes, give the boys a little bit of a time to get on. So thanks very much for watching. It's been a very enjoyable show. Looking forward to getting stuck into this weekend of rugby betting. And till we meet again, good punting, and let's hit those bookies hard.